Welcome back to our Real Estate Morning Show. I'm Dylan. This is my wife, Jennifer. We're realtors that have been helping families make smart real estate decisions now for 12 and 13 years. This is our Real Estate Morning Show where we talk about all the news in the GTA and Toronto, as well as give you some real estate tips and advice. Why don't we jump right into the show?
So the first topic that I have for us today, I'm sure you've seen it was in all the newspapers and stuff this morning, is that the PC government has made an adjustment to some of the rent controls.
I did see this, yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit of a confusing topic. I'm going to break it down and just try to make it as clear as possible and what this means, this current change means for us, okay? So prior to basically 2017, there were some properties that were exempt from rent controls, right?
Okay.
So there was a lot of homes, condos, things like that. And the Wynne government came in and said, you know what, this is getting crazy. People are increasing rents. People can't afford the housing anymore. We're going to put a cap on all rents, right? And it basically released in May of 2017 with the new standardized lease and a lot of the changes. They also announced this cap, right? So what that's led to is that there's been a bit of a decrease in the amount of purposely built rental properties. So currently 20% of Ontarians live in a rental style building. Some being affordable housing, some just being, buildings, apartments, condos, whatever. And we currently are carrying about 10% of properties that actually fit that category.
Yeah, there's not enough rental units out there.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
it's being measured, and we've come up with it's about 10%.
It's about 10% is what we're short. So the PC party, actually working alongside the Ontario Real Estate Association and Tim Hudak and that are trying to figure out how to fix this. And what they've come up with is that they are going to be retracting the rent controls on purposely built, new build, rental, and affordable housing properties.
Exactly. So all the stuff before, rent control still exists.
Yes.
And I think they said you can't move up beyond 2.5%. I mean, they set that every year, but 2.5 is the max.
Annually, and then August 30th every year is when the following year's numbers are set based on a review.
Yeah. So that's not changing, but anything that's being built purposely for rental now, they're not going to put rent control on that.
Yeah, correct. And the reason being that they're trying to attract builders to want to invest in building these properties. Now they're also creating sort of a plan on how to do this in an efficient, smart way. So they're looking at building more along transit lines and closer to highways for commutes and things along that nature. But yeah, basically they're kind of saying, hey, builders, if you come and build these new style properties now, and obviously affordable housing is different because they have their own regulations, but if you do that and you put your money into these properties, we're going to take away that rent cap so that it's more enticing.
Yeah.
And they've also gotten rid of, there was a rebate originally. So with the Wynne party, we have a cap, but here's a rebate. So if you build these types of properties, you can apply for government rebates and get some money back.
Yeah.
So PC party has now said we're going to get rid of that, but we're taking away rent control.
Yeah.
So interesting thing to know. You're gonna see it a lot in the papers and on the news and stuff. So we want to know, want you guys to know like what's actually going on, because all that the headlines are gonna say is rent control is gone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not what's happening at all. So so interesting. I don't know, what are your thoughts?
I think it's a good way to help encourage builders to build specific for rentals. Them removing the rent control is kind of counterintuitive, or not the rent control, sorry, the rebate program is a little counterintuitive to that, but it stays on board with what the PC government's platform is in terms of, hey, we're not giving out all this tax money and giving you rebates. We want, builders are making enough money, we want you guys to spend on that, but here's the other bonus that we can give you that isn't going to affect our budget. Right? So I'm okay with it, but it is kind of like they went one way and then another way, so it's, but more in line with how they would keep a tighter budget.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of it. I agree with you. And right now, the current vacancy rate in Toronto is 1%.
Yeah.
Ontario is 1.6. Like it's not that much better. We have a rent problem, so something had to be done. And it is kind of a good way to do it without really impacting the budget too much from those rebate side of things. I agree with you. It's a little...
It's like, hey, we're going to help, but we're going to take this other piece that was helping away as well.
Yeah, so, exactly.
We'll see how that plays out.
And at the end of the day, there's so much money in building other types of properties in general, and even those home starts are lower than they were previously.
Yeah.
So we're already seeing a decline in new development to an extent in certain areas. So, is it the right timing? There's so many questions here, but overall, that's what they're talking about when you see that rent no more rent control.
If that gets more rental buildings built, or just rent focused, developments, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's hard to be a renter right now. So,
Yeah.
So that's my
Perfect.
big news.
I think for your next one, you've got a much lighter topic for us. You've got some holiday decorating ideas.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I went two totally different ways this week.
Yeah. Well, and it makes sense because last night was the first time we pulled out some of our decorations. We didn't get much put up, but we started looking through what we had and deciding what we were going to do.
Figuring out what
we're right around the corner from jumping in on this ourselves.
Yeah, we're early this year.
Yeah, we are very early this year.
But really what I wanted to do was take a look and see if there was some tips that you could do around the home that really aren't that expensive. Because this time of year, you're already spending a lot of money. And decorations are not cheap, right? But you want your house to look good. So I found a great article. It's from Elle Decor. They have a lot of great stuff throughout the year. They're a home-based magazine, so it's all about that. And they have a list of, I think, 22 or 23. I'm not reading that many things.
No, of course not.
I just picked out my favorite few that I really thought, these ones they would have a big impact very quickly for not a lot of money.
Perfect. Let's hear it.
So the first one is a cheaper way to wrap your presents. Gifting, it's going to sound weird, but gifting
newspaper.
with... almost, but not quite. A little nicer than newspaper. But gifting with greenery. Okay. So when you go to like Michael's or those craft stores, you can buy big rolls of brown paper, right? And they're not that expensive. And you can pick up twine like anywhere. Yeah. So essentially the idea is go get those big rolls of brown paper. That's your wrapping paper. Yeah. And I think there's going to be a picture that pops that'll show you what I'm talking about. Yeah. Use the twine to wrap it. And then go outside and cut some little sprigs off of your evergreens that you have. Or you can buy bags of like leaves and trimmed shavings from any nursery that are really cheap. And you can attach that to the twine. You can spray paint it a little bit. Adds a little bit of flair, and it looks really cute. So
I can picture it. Does sound
it's nice.
Good.
It's
and
rustic.
I like if you can get the smell of that in here too, because we went fake tree for the last couple of years. So
I'm going to talk about that.
So jump on. What's the next one?
Yes, good segue.
Yeah.
So the next one was actually considering an artificial tree. So I know this is a big contentious topic. Some people are all about the real tree. I love a real tree. I know you do too. But an artificial tree, you pay $80, $100, $150, whatever it is at any real store. And
I think we got lucky when we spent that much because we found one on sale. But I feel like for our size tree, I think it's much more than that now.
Yeah, I think
you're
so.
Probably at least $300 or $400.
But if you wait till the end of the season, right after the holidays, really even the week of, they sell them at a discount, right? Yeah. So you can pick them up really cheap.
Holiday 2019, you'll be ready.
But anyway, back on track here. The idea behind the artificial tree, the reason I included it is because A, it's way more environmentally friendly. B, it's way less mess to clean up, and you pay for it once. Yeah. And you can reuse it. And like my parents have had one for like 15 years or something, right? Like it really makes your money go a long way compared to I think we used to pay $100 a tree every year, right?
At least, especially when we were down in Young and Eglinton, we took the Sherway one. That was expensive, but it was a beautiful tree.
It was, It
smelled great.
Carrying it down the street, not so much fun. But anyway, it's just something you can consider. I know this is a heated debate. I know we have friends who part of their Christmas annually is that they do a family trip and they go pick the tree and they cut the tree and it's a whole day and it's really a nice thing. Yeah. So there is you're gonna lose that. And the other biggest argument is people like the smell, the new tree smell. So luckily for us, you can buy scented candles, you can get air fresheners, all sorts of stuff, and you can get that new tree smell.
If anybody has a product out there that they really like to use for the fake Christmas tree smell, let us know because I actually was looking around on Amazon the other day to try and find one, and I was like, I couldn't commit to trying one for sure because there were so many products, and I was like, I really don't want a fake like piney air freshener smell. I want something that smells a little bit more authentic. So if anybody has one, let us know, please.
Yeah, and you can get the the wax melting things.
They actually we do have one of those, and it was pretty good.
It's pretty strong though. Yeah. So anyway, so you can always replace that smell is the point. So it is an option. I think obviously a new tree is always beautiful. Yeah. And does have that nice look to it, but. And the next thing, really you can combine these two, your dinner table. So if you live in a small space, or you have a dining room, or you have a table in an open area, if you just decorate that table and kind of leave it set up for the holiday season, you can have a pretty big impact on a pretty decorated room without really doing that much. You get a nice tablecloth, get some runners, you buy some candles, and the other thing I was going to say was glitter. So Again, you can go outside, grab some pine cones, get some glitter, give
No
it a
glitter.
spray.
I hate the glitter.
No glitter?
Yeah, just
Okay.
so messy.
Well, like spray paint, like
Yeah.
like shiny spray paint then.
Yeah.
Something that has a little bit of shimmer to it, because
Yes.
that's the whole idea. And you get some candles, you can get some like mason jars and put some ribbon or bows around them and have a very beautiful decorated centerpiece and table that you just leave set up.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, unless you're eating at it, which most of us don't anyway, we eat
No.
at the couch, let's face it. You're not going to really disturb it unless you're actually having a dinner party, and then it's already set up.
Yeah.
So, it kills two birds with one stone, and especially in condos and small spaces, it can go a long way. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
so those are my favorite ideas.
Oh, perfect.
I know there's a bunch more. There's some really cool ones, and, Pinterest as well. You can
great
look all this
resource
stuff
for
up.
all
It's
that stuff.
crazy, but yeah.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to jump into the next one. We're getting back more on real estate track, but this is just good financial planning all around. There's a company called Refresh Financial that helps Canadians with their credit history whenever things are going wrong or they're just checking on their credit portfolio. And they did a study that found only 41% of people actually know what their credit score is. And so obviously, knowledge and awareness is a big thing in terms of financial planning. And so this is something that they would want to see, have people know that percentage be a lot higher. Same with us. Because 96% of the same people that they surveyed all agreed that having a good credit score was important.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see that that percentage is that high. It means that there's only, 4% of people out there. There's still hippies somewhere. They're like, no, we don't need this stuff. But 4% is a nice small number.
That's a good number.
Yeah. But that being said, 23% of people still feel that their credit score is holding them back from making an important life decision.
Interesting.
And then in general, the company obviously finds that most people aren't looking into their credit portfolio until they get denied some financial product that they wanted to get.
Yeah, it tends to be a let's see what happens type game as opposed to let's be proactive, right?
Yeah, and so this is very topical because one, obviously, checking out your credit report and see what's up. There's usually something on there that shouldn't be and that you can fix up that might be hurting your score. Even if you have a good score, it could be better.
Yeah.
And this is very topical because you just finished a great wealth financial boot camp seminar that you went to on Saturday.
Yeah, I did. I went to Enriched Academy's
Yes.
basically financial fitness course. And it was amazing. Honestly, I learned so much from it. But one of the things we actually talked about happened to be credit and the lack of knowledge around it. And, 2 quick tips, if I can throw them out there.
Absolutely.
The first one is they highly recommended check your credit score annually. And for those that don't know, it doesn't have an impact on your credit score to check your credit score. The only thing that impacts it is if you apply for something and your credit score gets run. So that will affect it. But if you just log in to any of these sites or even
or
go
just
to
go Equifax,
TransUnion or Equifax and check your report, that has zero impact. Because that's a big myth in the lending world. And then the second thing that I actually didn't quite realize was that if you make payments but they're late, that has a bigger impact on your score. So having an on-time payment is way more important than necessarily having one missed payment, or the consistency of your on-time payments is super important, and also the history of the amount of time you've had a credit card. So what a lot of people tend to do is they'll shop rates, right? And they'll transfer their balances and they'll change cards. That has a negative impact on your credit score. So if you've had a card for a long time and you have a good track record of making consistent payments in that card is going to help your score way more than having multiple cards, or they recommend 2. They say really no more than 2. But essentially that history is a huge factor in your credit score, because your credit score is actually made up of multiple components. It's not just do you make payments on time and are you not carrying too much of a debt load. They focus on more than that. It's your patterns, right? So first things first, log in, check your credit report. Make sure that there's no errors on it, right? And then make sure you know what your score is, and then start doing those little things just to get that score up if you can, because it can always be better.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's can, right?
Yeah, it's a simple thing that you can look into. We got the New Year's coming around. Everybody's making resolutions, and financial wealth and health is very important.
Yeah, so financial knowledge, right? Just learning about it a little bit more. So
absolutely, that's our show for today.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us. As always, we have shows every Tuesday and Thursday morning. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more episodes, and any feedback or comments you have. We love hearing from you guys, and we've been getting a ton more input lately. So thank you to everybody for that, and keep sharing your ideas with us. The links to all the articles are going to be down below in the description, so if you want to check out those other decorating ideas, or you want to see the article about the credit score or anything like that, go ahead and check that out there. And other than that, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on Thursday.